Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Prime Sports World, coming to you on a Thursday, of course. We're bringing you some NFL content as we always do here on Thursdays at Prime Sports World. I'm joined, of course, by Mr. TJ Hopkins. Welcome to the show, my friend. I'm, of course, David On Point Huffman. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Twitter at PSW_David, Prime Sports World, pretty good place to be. Bringing you live content 5 or 6 times a week. Also want to thank our friends over there at Rouge Bear for sponsoring us here at Prime Sports World. I put the link to their website and our Facebook page, along with the NFL Supreme Facebook page as well. Go check out their spring collection. Uh, Thank you all very much for joining us. TJ, how you doing, man? This weather out in Chicago right now is not making me particularly happy, and it's supposed to particularly snow.
I'm imagining it's not making a lot of people happy, but today was opening day for the Cubs. They brought home a W, beat the Brewers 5-4 in the first game of the season. So happy opening day
It can only go
to all
downhill from here.
the baseball fans out there. And
And
what?
so on the show today, we're going to be talking about some NFL action. We're going to be talking about wide receivers getting paid because, boy, have wide receivers been getting paid this offseason. We're going to be talking a little bit about the AFC West and if the playing field has leveled out a little bit over the course of this offseason. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about that pre-draft trade shake up with the first round between the Saints and the Eagles. So let's first start with wide receivers getting paid, including the most recent wide receiver to get paid, Stephon Diggs. 4-year extension with $104 million, $70 million for guaranteed money. He is the third wide receiver this offseason to sign a $100 million contract. That includes Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. Kristen Kirk also signed for 4 years, $72 million. Mike Williams signed for 3 years, $60 million. And Allen Robinson signed for 4 years, $46.5 million. Wide receivers have been getting paid this offseason more than I can ever remember wide receivers getting paid in any offseason. What do you think is the reason behind wide receivers getting all of this cheddar this offseason? I didn't even include the Chris Godwin on here. Chris Godwin got paid this offseason too.
And I don't know if you saw, but Houston gave Brandon Cooks a 2-year extension. I don't know the details of like how much money he's getting, but yeah, Brandon Cooks got some more money too.
Yeah.
The reason that he's getting that receivers are getting all this money is it's the changing of the guard, right? Like 5 years ago, this was unimaginable. Like literally, like that that soon. Like people didn't think that much wide receivers. People thought that wide
They
receivers
they
were
were
all
interchangeable, right? They were like,
yeah
oh, we can get anybody.
yeah they legit thought I can get anybody to do what you do, and like some teams have to find out the hard way. Like, no, I can't get some receiver in the draft or a cheaper option in free agency to replace what you give, like what a certain receiver gives me. Now, in certain instances, they got lucky. Like if you're Minnesota, you replace Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson. That's lucky, right? That's lucky. You trade 1,000 yard receiver for, and then you draft another one. He immediately comes in and picks up where he left off. That's lucky, right? Michael Thomas in New Orleans. New Orleans hasn't gotten lucky. They can't find somebody to replace 147 catches, right? They can't do that because that's not interchangeable. That's not something that you can. That's not a quick fix. That's 147 catches. That's 1,100 yards. That's 13, 14 touchdowns. You can't.
And
You,
I and
you
I, I think the Kansas City Chiefs for damn sure are going to learn the hard way that placing wide receivers as good as Tyreek Hill, it's going to be difficult. Like you have a first round pick, Devontae Adams, the same thing. Like you have the first round pick, you got it in exchange for those trades. Those guys are not going to be Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams next season when you need them to.
no.
Like
So
no. And you know how
like
many wide receivers are taken to the first round and end up being busts? A lot.
a lot.
I mean, Jalen Rieger. What was the name of the kid from that went to the Patriots? Uh,
N'Keal Harry.
Nikhil Harry, first round pick. There are
Evan,
time after time after time again, and wide receivers get taken in the first round and they don't work out.
what's his name? That used to that played at
Uh,
Jacksonville. Like he couldn't
Coleman,
stay out.
Justin Blackman. I mean,
Yeah,
the
just
list goes on and on. Mike
couldn't
White,
stay out with
the guy the Bears drafted a few years ago,
Kevin
didn't work
White.
out at all in the NFL.
Yeah, Kevin White just couldn't get healthy. Like had tough break after tough break, and like that's what it is. Like again, 5 years ago, we like they just thought all receivers are divas. They're the icing on the cake. It is a football team. Some people even went out to say receivers are unnecessary, like that you didn't really need them. Right? And now because of how the game of football is played, it's I want to see quarterbacks throw the ball 30, 40 times a game, if not more. I want to see 300, 400, 500 yard passing performances. I want to see that. But in order to see that, guess what you got to have?
A top flight wide receiver. And I think the narrative has changed. Like wide receivers have become what running backs. Like now it's like, oh, we could get any running back to be, a semi serviceable running back. We don't necessarily need to spend the money on a type like Ezekiel Elliott. You think the Cowboys are regretting that Ezekiel Elliott contract right now? Probably.
Yeah, and this is different excuse me, if the Cowboys won a championship during that time span, because that 3 year span, one no running back in football touching Zeke, and a part of that was because of that front line, right? And we saw it the minute the Cowboy front line started to fall apart. Guess who else fell apart? Zeke.
We're gonna have to start. I will be back.
Okay.
I'm sorry, dude. I got some marital life stuff I got to handle. We'll be back here in about 45 minutes. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, you good. You good.